YouTube, what is good? We are back with the build videos, but today we're doing a build video covering a Warlock build that you're going to want to take into the day one raid to take on Crota next Friday when the raid drops during contest mode. Yes, it is for Strand Warlock. Now, the exotic you're going to want to use, what I've been liking using recently, is Necrotic Grips. We all know about the Necrotic Grip build, how it synergizes very, very well with stuff like Osteostriga. It's really, really good for ad clear. So in those ad clear encounters, you can use it while also being able to use it for great boss damage. So throw on Necrotic Grips, you can pair that really well with stuff like Osteostriga, works really, really well. Let's go over the subclass. Obviously, Needlestorm's your super. We've got a Healing Rift to give us that little bit of extra survivability. Now, we're using the Threadling Grenades, and the reason we're using these, they've got a low cooldown, and they got a little buff this season, and they're a lot of fun to run. They clear ads pretty well. Pairing that with two aspects, we're going to use Weaver's Call, get 3 Threadlings from our Rift, and then Mindspun Invocation. Now, the playlet we've been using for this is to consume our grenade, and it gives us 5 Threadlings straight off the bat. For the fragments, it gives us 4 of them. We're going to use Thread of Ascent, and the reason we're using Thread of Ascent is because it reloads our weapons. Literally the whole reason, whenever you activate your grenade ability, it reloads all your weapons. This is more for using it for damage when swapping to the damage version of this build, because you'll have 2 loadouts set up for this build for the day one in a sense. Thread of Generation is dealing damage, generates grenade energy, so you'll be able to get your grenade back really, really fast. So things like Osteostriga, when you're using that, it's got damage over time. Works really, really well with this, so any sort of damage, whether it be Threadlings, your weapon, it's gonna help get that grenade energy back, and it's crucial for getting your grenade back to reload your weapons during damage phase. Thread of Warding, this is obviously a given fragment you want to be running no matter what, whenever running any strand build for that matter, and the reason being is picking up an overpower, it grants Woven Mail. Now, Woven Mail did take a little bit of a nerf, but let's be honest, was it really a nerf? From 60% down to 55% DR. The 4th fragment we've been using is Threadlings travel farther and deal additional damage. Literally gives you a little bit of an intellect boost, and just why not just add that fragment on, seeing as though you're going to be doing a lot of ad clear with Threadlings. So like I said, you do want to be running Osteostriga in this build. It's great for ad clear. You can pair it with things like Forbearance and an LMG if you want to just use it for ad clear, on top of like whatever rocket you're running, whether it be a Apex Predator or whatever. While you're on ad clear for the first loadout, mods that you're going to want is you're going to want a Kinetic Siphon, because you're going to be using that Striga a lot. It's going to generate a lot of orbs. Ashes to assets for when consuming that nade and your Threadlings get killed. Helps get that super back. Gauntlets, Firepower, gets you orbs of power from grenade kills. Bolstering Detonation gets your class ability back, which feeds into mods on your class items such as Bomber, so you can pop your Rift and get some grenade energy back. Pairing it with Reaper, Reaper gives you another orb of power on your next final blow kill after using your class ability, which is your Rift. So they all feed together. Onto your chest piece, I've currently got it charged up on right now. Basically, you're just going to want to put on resist mods to whatever you're doing. Generally, there's probably going to be a lot of Arc and a lot of Solar with it being Hive, so you probably put on a Solar and an Arc resist mod. Onto your boots, while you're doing ad clear, recuperation, big one. Yeah, it helps get your health back when picking up orbs of power. Innovation, to pick up another orb of power, is going to help you reduce your grenade cooldown. And then while doing all that, picking up those orbs, put on a kinetic weapon surge, and makes your Osteostriga do even more damage. You can even swap out Osteostriga if you really, really want to. Now, the reason we're using this is to pair it with Necrotics, but you can swap it out for things like Witherhoard if you really, really want to. So that covers the first loadout you're going to want to set up for clearing ads. In terms of damage, when you are going into damage on a boss, it is essential that you change the loadout slightly. You want to make sure that both aspects don't change and none of the fragments change. The fragments have to be in the correct order as well, otherwise it will take your super away from you and all your abilities. So keep all these the same. All you want to do is you're going to want to change this to grapple. As you can see in this footage, this is the damage rotation you'll be doing on a Strand Warlock. You'll be grappling to reload with Thread of Ascent, and your grapple will also get so much back. Then you've got Thread of Generation, which is obviously helping damage over time that you're doing to the boss. Is going to help that grapple come back, so you can then in turn reload that rocket again to get as much DPS out as you can. Another thing you're going to want to make sure that changes on the build is you're going to want to make sure that, say you have a Solar Rocket on like Apex Predator, you've got 3 Surges on, and also you want to make sure on your class item change to make sure you have them Surges for the most amount of time, you swap those to Time Dilation. Now all you have to do is literally just set that build up, set a second loadout, and then going into damage, it'll have the same weapons on. Just going into damage, you'll swap straight to that second loadout. and it'll be the exact same. You'll just have 3 weapon surges with an extra 22% damage boost and time dilation to give you the maximum amount of time getting that maximum amount of damage that you possibly can. And that is it. That is literally the build. In terms of the play loop for the threadlings, you just want to consume that grenade, get those threadlings out, and pop a rift to help get that grenade back, and start clearing as fast as you can. That is literally the play loop. It's very, very simple. You 100% want to take this into a day one. It's one of the highest DPS dealing builds for damage against bosses. Who knows what they change in Crota, so definitely worth having on you. And then you have great ad clear with threadlings, Osteostriga, forbearance, whatever it may be. You have so much ad clearing potential. So that concludes the build. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you drop a like on the video if you did, and drop me a comment on builds you're taking into day one. I'll be playing a hunter next week, so we'll have a video covering all the hunter builds next week. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on your way, and I'll see you in your next one, gamers.